All right, we've got part 2 of Marraccini versus Laura Owens. We have got the text messages between her and Callie. We have got her exhibits from her declaration and a little bit of Marraccini's side as well. So let's hop right in. If you or someone you know is suffering from domestic violence, whether it's verbally, physical, emotional, sexual, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. They also have an online chat where you can go to thehotline.org. Please seek help. January 2018. On January 6th, Owen sends a Facebook message to Marraccini's new supposed girlfriend, warning her of his bullying, manipulation, and outright cruelness. Marraccini became aware of this correspondence and then, accompanied by his sister, allegedly confronts Owens during an unexpected encounter on the street the next day, which ultimately results in Owens taking legal action against him. On January 9th, two things happen. Owens files a domestic violence suit against Marraccini in San Francisco County, California, and she also files a request for a restraining order against Marraccini in the San Francisco County, California. She requests the order to also protect her immediate family members and her toy poodle Buttons. Remember I told you the dog was small, that he jokingly, I think, said he wanted to punt. And because it might look like it's the size of a football. I don't know, but that's usually what I've heard people say when they've joked about that. On January 10th, Owens files and is granted a temporary restraining order prior to the hearing set on January 26th. The request for additional protection for her family members is denied. However, Buttons is granted protection. So the dog gets protected. And remember, a temporary restraining order is not that difficult to get. They usually grant the temporary ones, and then they will, once they've had a hearing and gone over evidence and everything, then they will decide whether that temporary one is going to become permanent or if it's just going to go away, because there's no reason for it. Here is the screenshots of Marraccini's profile from the league, which the first one was taken on the 26th of April 2016, and the second one was taken on May 10th of 2017. So it's got that he's Michael, he was 28 at the time, real estate development, and went to California Polytech State University, also known as Cal Poly. And then it says, if you're a fan of brunch, I'm a fan of you. It has his IG. His IG is on private, which I don't blame him after dealing with this woman. So do not go over and harass or ask him any questions. Leave him be. He already had to deal with this person. And this one, I don't know if that's a picture with Owens in the center, but it kind of looks like Owens in the center. But it maybe it's his sister. I don't know. But this is that dating profile thing where they take LinkedIn profiles and the Facebook profiles, and that's how they match you with people. All right, we have Exhibit 3, Exhibit 4, Exhibit 5. Those were all going to be photos. There were two pictures of Owens' bruised arm from February 18th, 2017. There was a photo of the redness around the right eye and cheek that was taken on March 2017, and redness around Owens' eyes and cheek taken on May 2017. The images aren't great in the black and white copies. You can't really tell anything from them. Um, I did look up what the pretextual hemorrhaging thing was. Yes, that can happen from strangulation, but it can also happen from coughing, vomiting, seizures, crying, and so forth. Um, just so you know. And then we have Exhibit 6, and this is the text message that says, in your building or another. And then on November 28th says, saw you and your family at the Mama Sushi spot last night. Did you like it? Yeah, where were you? I was at the bar in the corner. I saw you all when we were walking out and we were just being served. What did you think of it? She says, I loved it. What about you? It's not as good as Sushi Ran, but I liked it better than anything else in the marina. Since you all didn't look around, we will never know. The second time in like 3 months that I've seen you all, but you walk right past. So 2 times in 3 months as opposed to 10 times in 1 month. I'm buying second time in 3 months. That seems more likely. And then she, of course, didn't show her response here. And if this is a man that you don't want to talk to, he makes you uncomfortable, you don't want him contacting you, 1, block his number. 2, why are you trying to carry on a conversation with him? Like, why are you asking what his opinion of it is? Say, yeah, we saw you. Please stop showing up where I'm at. Please don't contact me. Like, that's what you should be saying. Now, Exhibit 7 is the Facebook message that she sent to Callie. I'm wondering how she found out Callie's last name because she was not introduced that way. But she writes, Hi, Callie. Ever since I saw you with Mike, I have really struggled a lot with whether or not to reach out to you. I have no idea what your relationship status is with him, but I saw him with you last night while I was having dinner at Mamanoku with a friend and figured you were probably still seeing him. Not one part of me is sure if I'm doing the right thing by sending you this, but I would have given anything for someone to reach out to me before I got deeply involved with him. I'm sure you were told horror stories about me just like he shared with me about his exes. Well, most exes do that, and it's never their fault as to why the relationship ended. But you have to take all that with a grain of salt because that's just how people usually are. And she says, he came on like Prince Charming and I was crazy about him, but over time I started to realize he wasn't the guy I thought he was. He told my family elaborate stories about his life, like how he had dated one of those female stars from Modern Family, but I didn't remember which one. That he said he had dated Aaron Rodgers' sister, who I Googled and does not exist. And how he had been the VP at multiple Fortune 500 companies. I'm attaching the radio tryout tape of him saying that. Go to spot 230. He also told me when he started to date that he loved dogs more than anything. But when I rescued a physically impaired senior dog from Muttville, he told me he thought my dog was gross and ugly and refused to touch him and repeatedly said he wanted to punt him every time he came to his feet. I definitely shouldn't have stayed after all this, but I couldn't come to terms with the fact that this was truly him. And then it says, something towards me on the plane has haunted her since she saw it. And it was worse behind the scenes. Regardless of if you do anything with the information shared with you, I would beg you not to share it with Mike or bring up my name, as he truly scares me at this point. I pray that he has not been abusive to you and never is. If someone sent this to me when we were first starting to date, I would definitely think that they were nuts, but a few months into it, I would have wished I had taken their advice to heart. I know you don't know me and all, but I hope that the attachment can be proof to you that I'm not coming up with this. I never wanted to speak to or see the man again, let alone get back with him. So getting back with him is certainly not my intention. I just want to try to help someone else from getting hurt. If you want to talk with me, I'm happy to grab a coffee and chat. Regardless, I wish you all the best. And oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, most new girlfriends aren't gonna care what an old girlfriend has to say, um, for many reasons. I thought about reaching out to an ex of mine's girlfriend at the time, and I was like, no, they're just gonna think I'm like the crazy baby mama, or I want him back, or whatnot. And I was like, she wouldn't believe me. Anyways, um, later we kind of talked about it, and we're actually friends to this day. But yeah, she's missing part of her thread here, though. She didn't send all of it, because this towards the plane, it doesn't go to truly him and towards me on the plane. It doesn't go to that at all. So I would like to know what's in between there that she wrote. That maybe that doesn't make her look in good light, or maybe that wasn't in her declaration. And then she attaches the napkin from the stranger because she wants to be Callie's stranger now. And then this is the dating thing that she was telling her about. And then Callie responded back, "Hi, thanks for your email and thank you for sharing your experience with me. I'll definitely take this into consideration and appreciate you reaching out. Wish you well, Callie." That is a very nice response. She could have just ignored her. She could have said, "Leave me alone." She, a lot of things she did, but she was like, "Thanks, I appreciate you sharing it." And maybe if something happens, it'll be in the back of her mind if something does happen. So that was a very great way for Callie to handle this message. Also, please do not go harass this woman. Leave this woman alone. Don't say anything to her. She probably doesn't want any of this being brought back up. Owens responds back with, "Sure, feel free to reach out to me at blank if you have any questions. There were two other things I wanted to add. First of all, physical abuse got to the point where in the last month in our relationship, he tried to suffocate me with a pillow on 3 occasions and almost succeeded the second time. It completely traumatized me. Finally, I spent more than $30,000 on him in 2017 after he lost his job, between paying his rent, sponsoring his family, which they asked me to do after his stepfather passed away, taking him out to eat every night, and taking him on trips. He never picked up the check after the initial period of where we were dating. Definitely my fault for allowing him to manipulate me this way, but I hope he doesn't do this to you. I'm sure this is way more info than you wanted, but I truly felt the need to protect someone else from what I went through. My family knew about the physical abuse and always got a creepy, phony vibe from him. That is a lie. That is bullshit right there. Because your parents loved him. They liked him. They wanted him to stay with you. So no, they did not get a creepy vibe. My dad says he's sure he's going to end up on the beginning and being one of the stars of a Dateline episode at some point in his lifetime. Probably after all the stuff you told him, but while y'all were together, he didn't think this. Okay, that's all. I wish you nothing but the best. I really wish you hadn't told him this. She sends later, on January 7th. Told him I ran into him and his sister on the street, and they were absolutely ballistic on me. I'll stay out of this. Everything I said is true, and the fact that he is denying everything when I have so much evidence on him is insane. You have a napkin from a stranger. I've never reached out to anyone my ex was dating and was truly trying to do what I thought was right thing to do, but I guess I wasn't. I'm getting a restraining order against him first thing in the morning. Best of luck to you. And again, I'm sorry to have intervened. I clearly didn't do the right thing, but my heart was definitely in the right place. Just because she told him doesn't mean that you didn't do the right thing. Maybe she just is the type of person that tells her partner everything. Maybe she's heard crazy stories about you and she wanted to be like, oh my God, your ex that you said that we keep running into, like she messaged me and found me on Facebook. Like that could have been the conversation. She has every right to. That doesn't mean that if this truly happened to you and you were trying to not have it happen to somebody else, that you didn't do it correctly. She just may not be in a headspace like many to take the advice of an ex, one that she has probably been told is crazy. On January 9th, this is when she filed a request for a domestic violence restraining order in the San Francisco County Superior Court. Says Laura Owens is the one asking for it. She's 27 at the time of this. And she is pro per, so no attorney at this point. And then gives the address, and she wants protection from Michael Marraccini, who's a male who's 6'4", 220 pounds, light brownish hair, and green eyes, and he is white, and he is 30. His birthday is June 3rd or 4th of 87. You loved him, but you didn't know his birthday? That seems kind of odd to me, but okay. And it says, do you want an order to protect family or household members? She said, no. But then it says, if yes, list them. So it says her dad, her mom, and her sister. Her sister is older than she is. Then it says, what is your relationship to the person? Is we are dating or used to date, or we used to be engaged to be married. And then moves over to other restraining orders and court cases. Are there any restraining or protective orders currently in place or that you have expired in the last 6 months? No, she can't click that box anymore. Have you or any other person named been involved in another court case with the person? No. And then it says, check the orders you want. Personal conduct orders. I ask the court to order the person not to do the following things to me or anyone listed: harass, attack, strike, threaten, assault, sexually or otherwise, hit, follow, stalk, molest, destroy personal property, disturb the peace, keep under surveillance, impersonate on the internet, electronically or otherwise, or block movements. Like when she says that Marraccini and his sister were blocking her way of walking and she couldn't go around them. And then it says B, contact either directly or indirectly in any way, including but not limited to by telephone, mail, or email, or other electronic means. Stay away order. I ask the court to order the person to stay at least 100 yards away from me, my home, my job or workplace, my vehicle, and basically her mom, dad, and sister. Says if the person listed is ordered to stay away from all places listed above, will he or she be able to get to his or her home, school, job, workplace, or vehicle? And she checked yes on that one. Guns or firearms or ammunition. Why do they say or, and, instead of like commas on many of these things? That's weird, because some places they do and some places they don't. I believe the person owns or possesses guns, firearms, or ammunition. She said she doesn't know. Record unlawful communications. I asked for the right to record communications made to me by the person that violates the judge's orders. That one is automatically checked for people. 11, care of animals. I asked for the sole possession, care, and control of the animals listed below. I asked the court to order the person to stay at least 3 yards away from and not take, sell, transfer, encumber, conceal, molest. Why do we need to put this in here? Oh, that's right, because people do bestiality. Like, the fact that this has to be in here is ridiculous. Attack, strike, threaten, harm, or otherwise dispose of the following animals. Buttons. Toy poodle, very old, blind, no teeth, tongue is permanently outright. I bet he is a sweetheart. I bet he's looking all cute, crazy with his tongue out. Like, yes, protect Buttons. I asked for the animals to be with me because he does not own the dog with me. However, he has threatened to punt him and has expressed his hatred of the dog repeatedly. And then there's nothing else on that page. And then she moves over to number 22, Battered Intervention Program. I asked the court to order the person listed to go to a 52-week intervention program and show proof of completion to the court. So she wants him to do a year's worth of classes in battered intervention for abusers. 27, describe abuse. Describe how the person abused you. Abuse means to intentionally or recklessly cause or attempt to cause bodily injury to you, or to place you or another person in reasonable fear, imminent serious bodily injury, or to harass, attack, strike, threaten, assault, sexual, otherwise hit, follow, stalk, molest, keep under surveillance, impersonate on the internet, electronically or otherwise, batter, telephone, or contact you, or to disturb your peace, or to destroy your personal property. For a complete definition, see Family Codes 6203 and 6320. Date of most recent abuse. And she puts January 7th, 2018. Who was there? Me, his sister, and it was in public. Describe how the person abused you or your children. After a year of abuse, the relationship ended. Since then, he told me he had moved to Sacramento. However, he was shown up at multiple venues that he knows I will be at, restaurants with my family and friends, and in front of my building. On Friday, he walked into a restaurant he knew I was at, lingered in front of my table where I was eating with a friend, left after 5 to 10 minutes. On the 7th, he and his sister came up to me less than a block from my home and accused me or cussed me out and refused to allow me to call the police. I was able to get away, but I was terrified. They did not refuse you calling the police. Did his sister tell you don't you dare with the phone? Yes. But you said in your declaration you were trying to call your mom. Or maybe Joan or whoever. You didn't say anything about calling the police. Because I kept saying call the police because you hadn't. So that's BS. Did the person use or threaten to use a gun or any other weapon? She said no. Describe the injuries. Emotional. extreme stress, panic attack, and concern for my personal safety, as I know what he is capable of and don't know when and where he will show up next. I have been afraid to leave my home. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. No, you're not scared to leave your home. You go out to eat all the time. You went to Mamanoku's like 5 times. You went to other places all the time. You are not afraid to leave your home. So stop that. Don't be lying. Did the police come? No, because you didn't call them. Continuing on with 27, it says, has the person abused you? Other times. Date of the abuse, December 30th, 2016. Me, Michael, Karen, which is the stranger, and other plane passengers. Michael and I were on a flight to Iceland. He was emotionally abusive to me throughout the flight, telling me how worthless I was as a person and having me in tears for most of the 8-hour flight. When he went to the restroom towards the end of the flight, a passenger in the seat in front of me slipped me a note on a napkin. I will bring it to the hearing. She included her contact information. And then it says, check here if you need more space. And label it DV100 recent abuse for the title. Did the person threaten to use a gun or any other weapons? No. Describe the injuries. His treatment had me feeling so low about myself that I became suicidal. And the note from the stranger was something I read to remind myself that I was still beautiful in someone's eyes, since he made me feel so unworthy. Did the police come? No. If the person abused you other times, check here and use form DV101, description of abuse, or describe any other previous abuse on an attached piece of paper and write it DV100, previous abuse for the title. 28. Other persons to be protected. The persons listed in need an order for protection because he knows my family's address, told me on January 7th that he hates them, and has a key to my father's work that he won't give back. Why didn't you put that in your declaration? You didn't mention that. My dad, Ron Owens, has been a talk show host on KGO in San Francisco for 42 years. He has been using his association with him to get into restaurants and his club, and has threatened to go public about my suicidal thoughts in an effort to harm my dad's image. My dad has cancer, a heart valve infection, and Parkinson's for 16 years and is very weak. Given his abuse to me, I do not know if he would harm him or other family members. He harmed you during sex. I don't think he's going to go after your family. I just don't see it. And we still don't know if that harm during sex was wanted or not. You say it's not, but it's easy to claim rough sex that you agreed to as not agreed to later on down the road when things don't go your way. And then Owens signs this. To continue on that one abuse on the plane, said I was being abused by a sick man and needed to run and seek protection from him. That's what she added. And then here's the DV 101 page, and it says January 2017 through November 2017 between Owens and Marraccini. It says, describe how the person abused you. Marraccini began to choke me in January 2017 on our trip to Iceland, and it continued until we last physically engaged with each other in November. He choked me while we were intimate, although I begged him to stop every time. Since our relationship hadn't had choking in it for the first 6 months we were together, I was shocked that this started, and he kept telling me he wouldn't do it again. However, he did it on every occasion and told me he wanted to be in complete control of me and liked the ability to control my breath. I told him not to every time. On 3 occasions, he used a pillow over my face, and on 1 occasion, I passed out for a few seconds. He is a foot taller than me, and I could not breathe, let alone scream for help. I was terrified afterwards and told my friends, family, and doctors about the abuse immediately. However, I was advised not to file a report at the time with the police because he had a very hair-triggered temper, and my advisors did not know if he would take it one step further if I got the police involved. He told me on several occasions that he would be blamed if I was found dead, and described any use of threatened use or guns or other weapons. His hands were the weapons, she says. And I'm sorry, this is where this whole thing tells me, nope, this isn't true. Because I do not see a psychiatrist or a counselor or a doctor or anybody like that that's kind of a mandated reporter that to tell you not to call the police. I'm sorry, I just don't see they would do it. I can see them doing it when you went to the doctor's appointment and they get involved and you can talk to them there, especially once you're out of the situation. But I'm sorry, I just do not believe that they told you not to. Maybe your family and your friends did, but doctors and advisors, as you so called them, sound like professionals. They're not telling you that. That's what makes me think that this whole thing is a lie. That's why you didn't call the cops. I don't believe you. Describe the injuries. I came to my parents' house on many of the occasions where spots under my eyes and on my face from the lack of oxygen during choking. I had been treated for PTSD since his abuse started and continue to be treated for it. I also have insomnia, nightmares, and it leads to night sweats and panic attacks. Did the police or law enforcement come? No, because you didn't call them. Because people told you not to, apparently. No, screw those people. No. And like I said, the spots could be caused for many different reasons. We know she likes to cry. Another incident, she says, from March 2016, which is the last encounter, harassment on 1/7/18, who was there multiple occasions, her mom, her dad, her sister, and the podcast audience, and various friends. The podcast audience? I need this recording. Where's the recording of this podcast? That is on here. Describe how the person abused you. Mike is a pathological liar and told me and my family many lies while we got to know him, like how he dated Aaron Rodgers' sister for a few months, only to find out she didn't exist. That he dated a star from Modern Family, but didn't remember who. He told me on 1/7 that it was Sarah Hyland. So in the middle of cussing you out, with his sister there, he just decided to mention the celebrity, because that seems like a very odd time to do that. Said this was a complete fabrication. How do you know? Like, did you talk to Sarah Hyland? Did she tell you that? Let's see here. This was a complete fabrication. He told many lies during his time with me and my family in front of my friends. He tried out to be a co-host for a podcast for KGO, where he stated that he was the VP of several Fortune 500 companies, which he never was, and that is very easily provable. While the podcast ended up being taken off the KGO website due to his blatant lies about his background, that would damage the station's reputation. And so, yeah, I could see why the station wouldn't want to have that on there if there were lies. And I have saved a copy of him saying this in his voice. When I was in an accident as a passenger in an Uber in April of 2017, he repeatedly told me I needed to fake injuries in order to get a bigger insurance payout. He said he helped a past girlfriend do this and strongly encouraged me to do the same. As it was, I was injured, but I would never dream of committing fraud. And this seems totally right to him, because as he said, I could use a big settlement to be a great sugar mama for him. Okay, really? That is not, no. You're not going to be a great sugar mama for anybody. And also, you would never dream of committing fraud. You committed fraud so many times. Fraudulent documents, fraudulent statements, fraudulent babies. Is this where you learned it from? Or is this where you started? Are you the one that came up with that and you're trying to blame him for it? You are a fraud. It's just ridiculous. And then it says, describe any injuries, emotional, extensive. I fell for a person who claimed to be someone they are not. My reputation as a developing talk show host for Cumulus Media would have been extremely damaged by the associating myself with someone who so blatantly lied about his employment background. Luckily, someone took it down after looking it up when it sounded suspicious. It has been hard to trust people since. No, law enforcement didn't come. And then copy of the police report number, Laura Owens versus Marraccini, attachment, and then, so there's the case number with them. Like, I would never dream of committing fraud. Oh, God. Give me a break, woman. Now we have Tara Berta, along with Justin Cook, who are attorneys for the petitioner, Laura Owens, in the case versus Maraschino on April 9th, filed in Superior Court of California, County of San Francisco. Says restraining order information. I agree that one or more domestic violence restraining protective orders are now in effect between the parties in this case. And then moving to number 8 on the next page, other orders requested. I do not consent to the other orders requested. Facts to support my responsive declaration are listed below. The facts that I write and attach to this form cannot be longer than 10 pages unless the court gives me permission. It says, please see attached declaration. And it is, I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws and state of California, the information provided in this form and all attachments is true and correct, and it is signed by Tara Berta, the attorney. So this is the responsive declaration to request for the order. Now we have declaration of counsel in objection to request to set a new hearing date. I, Tara Berta, declare I am an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of California. I am employed by Cooperative Restraining Order Clinic, CROC, which agency is representing Laura Owens with her request for a restraining order against Marraccini. The lead attorney representing Owens from CROC is Justin Cook. On January 26, 2018, this court set a hearing date for Ms. Owens' request for restraining order. On that day, the court ordered witness declarations to be filed and served by March 29, 2018. On March 29, 2018, on behalf of the petitioner, CROC filed and served a supplemental declaration of Laura Owens and declarations of Joan Neal, Karen, and Jan Owens, which is Owens' mom, all of whom are to be called as witnesses for Ms. Owens. Number 4, the witness for the petitioner are prepared to appear in person or by phone on April 13, 2018. Number 5, Ms. Owens does not want to continue the hearing. She is anxious to have this matter resolved as soon as possible, and she and her witnesses have planned their schedules in anticipation of the hearing proceeding on April 13. Number 6, if the court does not grant a continuance of the hearing set for April 13, 2018, petitioner requests that the court order A, the matter be set as early as date as possible. B, the new hearing date accommodate the parties and the witnesses' schedules. C, if any of the petitioner's witnesses are not able to appear in person on that date, that they be allowed to appear by phone. And D, discovery will be reopened. I declare under penalty of perjury, under the laws of the state of California, that the foregoing is true and correct. Signed, Tara Berta, on 4/8/18. Now we have response to request for a domestic violence restraining order filed January 22nd, 2018 in the Superior Court of California, County, San Francisco. So, this is Marraccini's response. And his attorney is Pollock. And so, gives the hearing date. And then number 4, relationship to the person asking for the protection. I agree to the relationship listed on their form. Number 5, other protected people. I do not agree to the order requested. So he agrees he was in a relationship with her. He does not agree that other people need a protection order against him. Goes to number 7, the stay away order. I do not agree with the order requested. And then moving to 11, care of animals. I do not agree to the order requested. He does not feel like he needs a stay away order, that her family needs a protective order, that she needs a protective order, or the animal, Mr. Buttons, needs one. This is not a court order. Alright, so there is nothing on page 3 of this. So we go to page 4 and go to number 22, which is the battered intervention program. He does not agree to this order requested. And that is it on that page. And then number 25. Check here. Reasons I do not agree with the orders requested. Explain your answers to each of the orders requested. Check here if there was not enough space below for your answer. Put a complete answer on an attached sheet of paper and write DV 120 reasons I do not agree. It says for approximately 8 or 9 months from April 2016 until March 2017, I was involved in a dating relationship with the petitioner, Owens. During that time, Owens wanted far more committed relationship than I was interested in. The allegations she made are total fabrications from a young woman who has threatened unaliving herself multiple times, has been hospitalized for depression, and been on anxiety and depression medications. For the sake of her mental and emotional stability, I tried working things out with her and to have a friendship, but she has been continuing to focus on having a permanent relationship with me, which I did not want. That rings true. because we know she's done this with many people. And, maybe if it was someone else saying this, you would be like, yeah, you probably led her on and everything like that. But because we know Owen's MO, that's totally true. She wants permanent. As shown in attachment 1, text message between Owen's mom and myself, petitioner has suffered from emotional issues and necessities that placed her in an inpatient facility followed by outpatient treatment and multiple medications. Attachment 2 is text messages between Owen's father and myself. He also acknowledges petitioner's mental and emotional instability. Mr. Owens, in a text message dated on December 2016, told me, "Please call Laura and promise her anything. She wants to keep her alive, and I promise to help you get out of this as soon as she is safe. Please, now." Additionally, the text from the petitioner to my sister, attachment 3, in December of 2016, Owens, as a person consumed with her love for me and her desire to make our relationship work, I ended the relationship and wanted to move on with my life. Regarding her specific claims, I was leaving a restaurant with my sister, which was 300 feet from my sister's apartment. Very important thing that Owens failed to mention. While Mr. Marraccini does not supposedly live in that neighborhood, Mr. Marraccini's sister does. I don't know if they live in the same apartment or just they live like a block from each other, but either way, Owens and Marraccini's sister live in the same area. So when Marraccini is at a restaurant that is just down the block, or he's at a gym that's just down the block from Owen's apartment, it's also just down the block from his sister's. Some of the times he was with his sister. Why? Because she lives in the neighborhood. Owens failed to mention this. Now, could it be that Marraccini used his sister and spent more time with his sister in order to stay close to Owens? Yeah, that is a possibility too. But looking at who we're dealing with, I don't know that that's what happened. When we were exiting, petitioner was outside and immediately confronted us and called me a liar, an arsonist, and a thief. I asked her to leave me alone and stay out of my life, but she kept arguing. Following this encounter, she wrote my present girlfriend and made accusations about me. Regarding number 4, since before we dated, petitioner has taken multiple medications to help with depression and anxiety. The text and all the attachments confirm this. Towards the end of the relationship, Owens told me she would take horse tranquilizers to calm down. Does she have access to horse tranquilizers? Yes, she probably does, working with the horses. And I don't know if she took them or not. Could I see that happening? Yeah. I don't know why he would say that. But, I mean, it is possible. And then number of pages attached to the form, if any, 22. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the information above is true and correct, and it is signed by Marraccini and his lawyer on the 21st of January 2018. Up first, attachment 1. Text between Owen's mother and Marraccini. It says, "Mike, it's Jan. I got this text from Laura who asked me to contact you and ask you if you'll give her another chance. She is terribly upset and feels like you played her like a fool. I have to admit that Ron and I both believed you at North Beach North Beach restaurant when you said you were taking responsibility for the pregnancy and that the timing was wrong. I can see how she didn't think you were lying and didn't intend to end the relationship when the pregnancy was over. Please read the text she wrote and consider giving her another chance. So this is Owen's mother begging her in December. And then it says, Mike recently, so I guess this is the text. Mike recently made the comment to me that he would have said anything in the world to get out of having this child, that he agreed to whatever I wanted, just not to have it. This has been weighing on me like a ton of bricks lately, and I absolutely cannot live with myself anymore. And then the rest of whatever is sent is not there, but okay. So we know she says that. And she's threatening to unalive herself because she's depressed from the abortion. If there was an actual one. There might have actually been one in this case. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what else they talk about. Owen's mother says, please let me know if you got this. And Marraccini says, again, my words get misconstrued 100%. I was 100% truthful with you and Ron when we talked at North Beach restaurant. I was supportive through the entire process, and when we were at Tony Robbins, I told her that if I didn't say that I was going to get married or have a child later on with you, you would have kept the child. She replied with, that's absolutely true. I told her if I didn't say that I was going to get married or have a child later on with you. Okay. Like he had to say these things. Otherwise she wouldn't have ever done it. I never said that I was appeasing her at the time. I just told her that she was always giving me an ultimatum, and I was tired of receiving the threats. I've been 100% honest throughout this entire process and am still here today, months after the operation, even though I am incredibly unhappy with where we stand. I've been at my breaking point for a long time and have been honest and truthful with her about my whatever. So we know that Owens likes to misconstrue things. We know she likes to give ultimatums or threats, because this is how she runs. She's done it to Dave Neal. She's done it to Liz Neptune, Megan Fox, Mike, Law Talk with Mike, Reality Steve, Clayton, Greg. Like, we know this is what she does. So that rings true to me. Then we also have, or can't see, I feel like that though she would disagree with me, I've tried. And somehow this thing keeps being brought up. We have different expectations when it comes to boyfriend and girlfriend. I also told her we need to work on being happy rather than focusing on a title. Yes, that is true. And then he says, I never once asked for Iceland, nor did I know she had purchased it. She wanted it to be a surprise for me and never asked me what I was doing over that period of time. I had already purchased a trip a year ago and that I was really looking forward to, and I had to cancel it because she made me feel guilty. Bottom line is, this shouldn't be a surprise to Owens considering. I can't read the top part of this third one. And Owen's mom says, I understand that what you're saying, but could you please call her and be gentle and hear what she is saying? It would mean a lot to all of us. She wants you to forgive her for whatever she's done that's gotten you two to this point. Marraccini says, I told her that if she betters herself, that I would contemplate a future with her. She is again threatening to unalive herself. Did you go and see her today? She said she has been in her car for at least 4 hours. Owen's mother said, "So you did call her?" Marraccini says, "I'm still on the phone with her." And Owen's mom says, "Oh, great." Marraccini says, "No, it's not great. She is threatening to unalive herself and jump off the bridge." And her mother says, "We truly appreciate it." I don't know if that's meant for that. Like, maybe she meant for that part to get there before he said she's fixing to unalive herself and jump off a bridge. We truly appreciate it. That's comical. I think she will be in a better mindset if she gets the medication adjusted, gets some rest, and is off gluten for a while. If you can calm her, we would greatly be eternally grateful. She is not acting like herself, and I am certain it is because of meds and gluten and exhaustion. Yes, it's that bread she had. Like them rolls, them breadsticks at the Italian place. Those are the problem. That's what's causing all of this. So if you are going cray-cray, just get off the gluten. That'll fix everything, right? And then she says on December 10th, 2016, "Hi, Mike. Are you with Laura? We haven't heard anything from you or her since last night." And Marraccini says, "No, I am with my family in Sacramento." And Jan says, "Did I get the correct report that she's heading home and you two are back together? She just called us and Ron and I are looking up hospitals to meet her at." "I followed what Ron told me to." And then on the 11th, Jan says, "Hi, Mike. We wanted to thank you so much for what you did for us and Laura this weekend. You saved her, and we will be forever be grateful to you. She is getting treated as an inpatient right now. So why is your mother saying you're being treated inpatient when you're not?" So that's not Marraccini coincidentally put contrary in his declaration. Well, no, it's because your mom said it. So maybe talk to your mom about that. Why is your mom telling him things that aren't true? And then she will continue to be treated as an outpatient. They're going to change the medication they put her on for anxiety. We would love to take you and thank you later this week or the following if you are available. Does that work? We also know this took a big toll on your family this weekend, and we would love to take everyone out to the House of Prime Rib this holiday season if your mom and sister are in San Francisco. So that is what is being said. And then it says blah, 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 blah on December 12th, 2016. "I'm glad Laura got treatment for a day, but she informed me she is checking out and is back something, something, something. Someone that is actually dying and wants to live another day, yet she wants to end her life out of selfishness. The reason I'm writing you is to let you know that the statements I told Laura this weekend were logical and out of compassion. I was given an ultimatum of if we were not together, then I'm going to off myself. Nobody ever wants to be given an ultimatum, especially when death is involved. Ron and I said we needed to do whatever we could to make sure your daughter came home safely. Yet you told her I was lying to her, and I get being a mom and you want to protect your daughter, but I don't get why you do that when Laura has been suicidal all weekend. Like I said, I understand you're her mother, but relaying that message caused an incredible amount of stress on me, and it took a turn And in turn, I took it out on my family. So Owen's mom and dad and Marraccini have all kind of talked, and Owen's dad and Marraccini came up with this plan. This is what we are going to tell her to get the help she needs and not unalive herself. Her mother, in the vulnerable state that Owens was in, goes and tells her that basically those were just words, that Marraccini didn't actually mean them. And I doubt she mentioned that, your dad and him just came up with this. So your dad and Marraccini lied to you because we wanted, he was going to say anything to not get you to do that. That is so shitty of her mother to do to her in that vulnerable state. That's not, that's going to send her right over the edge again. He goes on to say, with all of that being said, I appreciate your offer for dinner and even including my family, but I am going to have to pass. I care, love, and appreciate Laura, you and Ron, Sarah, and somebody else. Jan says, choice for her in the first place and may have compounded her feelings by being increased today. Keeping all of you in our thoughts and prayers, Mike. So sorry for your loss. So this all happened in December. Now we're into March, and she's, saying sorry for your loss. Please let us know if there's anything you can do. Marraccini says thank you very much. Jan also wanted to thank you and Ron for the beautiful plant azaleas. They're my mother's favorite. So she started crying when she received them. So during all this drama, Marraccini was dealing with the fact that his stepfather was losing his life. His life was coming to an end. And yes, that was very nice of the Owens to send the azaleas to Marraccini's family. Marraccini says, Jan says, you are very welcome. I'm glad your mom likes azaleas. They are one of my favorites too because they last a long time. I'm glad you are all able to be together and support one another at this time. Stay strong. So it does not sound like, as of this point, that Laura's mom gets the creeps or doesn't like Marraccini. She seems to like him so far. Then we have talks of, Jan says, they increased her dosage of Cymbalta, and I think it has had a very bad effect on her. I think it wasn't a good idea and has made her very anxious and upset. Please be kind and patient with her. It is all because of the drug and she hasn't eaten. So you want her to eat, just don't eat the gluten. Marraccini says, I understand that and I have been kind and patient, but she doesn't like the answers. She gets thoroughly upset. Then again called and asked something. You tell me something that doesn't mean I tell Laura. There are some things she doesn't need to know, especially the state she is in. I didn't say I never wanted to see anyone again. I respectfully declined the invitation because it's still too fresh and my family is focused on someone who is ill. Yes. Marraccini's stepfather is ill and dies a few months later. And he's having to deal with Owens' BS and her drama and making things about her. Jan says, I totally understand and feel very sorry for what your family is going through right now. I'm truly sorry that this has been a distraction. I would just ask for your continued understanding and patience, as I feel strongly that her current state of mind and tearfulness is due to the medication, which may not have been the right choice for her in the first place and may have compounded her feelings by being increased today. Keeping March 3rd, 13th, keeping all of you in prayers. Thank you very much. And that's about the plant. Again, some of these are out of order, but this is how they were in the document. So Owen's mom, Jan, is making excuses for her. It's the gluten. She's tired. Her medications are off. It's not her, truly. It's the meds. She also hasn't eaten. Know that this is not the true her. You know the true her. Like, give her some slack and just enabling her. Making excuses for her daughter constantly. She was being selfish. The medication didn't make her selfish. She was doing this, and she continues to do this. Jan, you need to get a grip on yourself and your daughter and wake up to the nonsense that she does. Now we're going to move on to Ron, Owen's father, and Marraccini's text. So December 10th, 2016, please call Laura and promise her anything she wants to keep her alive, and I promise to help you get out of this as soon as she is safe. Please now. Marraccini says, she sends me to voicemail every time. Ron says, we're now telling her that by text. Marraccini says, done. Ron says, please also remember she suffered a concussion last week, and between that and the pills, she is not herself. So, is it the concussion from probably horse riding and maybe fell off, or maybe an accident, a car accident or something? No, I think she said that happened in 2017. But she's on medication for this concussion, and she hasn't been herself since the concussion. Could this concussion actually be responsible for the epileptic seizures, rather than Marraccini suffocating her with a pillow? But it's just convenient that all of it happened during the same time period. And then Marraccini says no excuses for these types of, and it cuts off right there. There is no excuses for behavior. Owen's father is making excuses for her just like her mother does. Can't really do that. Says he is going back into the hospital with his family. So he's at the hospital because of his stepfather, but he's having to step out of the hospital to deal with this stuff with Owens and be away from his family and his stepfather, while he needs to be focusing on his family right now, not Owens and hers. Ron said, we are desperately trying to get a hold of her and nothing yet. She said you are talking. Can you please respond to her? We need her back. Marraccini says, Ron, I have done everything for you guys all day while my stepfather is dying. Yet you both don't have the decency to call me back. So I guess Marraccini tried to call, because when Ron asked, it was like 3-something p.m. And then Marraccini has responded back, and it's like 5 p.m. now. So it's been a couple of hours. Marraccini says, this is getting ridiculous. Ron says, I feel like absolute shit reading your text. Good. You should feel like shit. He's doing something. You take care of it. But yet you still don't take care of your daughter when she does this stuff, because she's still pulling this garbage. I'm so sorry. I had no idea that your stepfather was dying, and you are absolutely right. I didn't realize my ringer was off until now. I will call you tonight when she is safe back in San Francisco. So that is at like 6:30, it looks like. Marraccini says the next day, or no, December 23rd. And thank you for sending the flowers to my family. That means a lot. So I guess they sent some flowers to the family prior to the stepfather actually dying too, but when he was sick. So that was very nice of them. I'm sure they're very nice people, but their daughter is unhinged. And she is a grown adult, but like, you need to rein it in and quit enabling her adult behavior. Like, tell her she needs to grow up and stop this BS. Now we have a text between Owens and Marraccini's sister. And so it says, he hasn't mentioned that you both don't, he has mentioned that you both don't see eye to eye on things in the moment and not focusing on the future. When I frustrate him or cause unnecessary family drama, he pushes away and hates turmoil. So Marraccini's sister is saying, he doesn't like drama. He doesn't like turmoil and chaos and all that. He pushes people away. He doesn't want that in his life. So when he pushes Owens away, when she causes drama and turns his life into chaos, that's why he pushes her away and doesn't want to be with her. Because he doesn't like to do that. My son is very similar. If you want to bring drama and fighting and things like that into his life, he will cut you off. Because he doesn't want any of that in his life. He just cuts it off at the knees because he doesn't want to deal with that. It's too much for him. Owens goes on to say, I really appreciate the advice. I've noticed that with him too. It's just been a very hard day, and the more I try to do the right thing, the more I seem to do the wrong thing, even though that's obviously the opposite of my intention. I will listen to what you said and move forward. Marraccini's sister says, I'm sorry it's been a difficult day. Take some deep breaths and know that he cares about you and your well-being. Owens, I really appreciate it. Genuinely, I want nothing more in my life than to work on my relationship with him, and I seem to keep messing it up. So you keep messing it up, which, you could be thinking that when you're in an abusive relationship too, that everything is your fault, but I feel like you would be coming across like way different, and maybe you wouldn't be doing that to his sister, because she would be one that would always take his side, and you wouldn't be able to talk about like the bad things that he did. But Owens admits that she's the one that's causing craziness. And then Owens says, hi, I just got my phone back for a couple of minutes tonight. I wanted to say I'm here for you. If you ever wanted to talk about the depression stuff, because clearly I get it, I will be praying for you to feel better. That feeling is the worst. I also just want to reiterate my gratefulness and apologies to your family and your brother. My big goal is to come out of this as the best possible partner for him, and would give him the world if I could. He truly deserves, and I so treasure him in our relationship. I just need to show him that rather than only use words all the time. He is my motivation, and you should be really proud to call him your brother. Hope you are doing better and sleep well. Marraccini's sister says, hi Laura, thank you for the kind message. I'm proud. He is good and kind soul, and so are you. Heart emoji. And I am thinking about you and hope you get a good night's sleep. Night. Owens goes on to say, thank you so much for listening to me. I have just hoped he would believe in my heart that is genuine in the best place. I am trying to understand, get these emotional issues under control. So she's admitting here to Marraccini's sister that she has emotional issues that are not under control. She says, it breaks my heart that I know he doesn't believe I can change. Thanks for believing in me and helping me. You have been such a bright light. I just effed everything up with the person I cared most about. I just wish he understood and could support me while I've been struggling rather than seem so doubtful about my abilities. Well, he seems to be noticing a pattern with you. I will miss you guys and my daily tremendously. Okay, whatever that means. Thank you for trying. I'm just not enough. I don't deserve another chance, and God has no reason to keep me on this earth any longer, and I'm totally okay with that. Mike deserves the best, and it wasn't me. So she is now going back to playing the unaliving card. That because she can't have Marraccini, there's no reason for her to be on Earth anymore. It's a bit dramatic. And then Marraccini's sister, Laura, you're an amazing person, and she's probably trying to like boost her up because I don't know, Laura Owens is fishing for compliments and, oh no, you're really amazing and you shouldn't think like that, and like da 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 da, he'll come around, like just whatever. Because she needs an ego boost, or what she's doing here. She wants to play victim. She wants sympathy, empathy, all the things. And then Marraccini said, is everything okay today? Did you two work it out? Owen says, I think so. He's definitely trying, and I am really taking what you said to heart. I also think he and I, unfortunately, very similar, where when our buttons get pushed, we end up saying just about the worst things to each other that we don't actually mean. So she's admitting that she says a bunch of things, just like he says a bunch of things, when their buttons are pushed. So when he is saying mean things to you, which maybe he did on the plane, is because you pushed his buttons. And maybe you said to hit things to him prior to that. Then I immediately regret it and I want reassurance, but he needs time. I think I just need to accept him for every absolutely fantastic quality he has and realize what has caused our fights has largely been, one, social media, which you brought up and is really true. It doesn't matter at all. I just was sad that he didn't want me posting pics together, but I totally believe what you said, that he just doesn't do that with anyone. And two, my anxiety and depression, I am 100% sure whatever drugs I am on for it are making it way worse for me. He's sleeping next to me on the bus right now. So they're off somewhere together, and she thinks that the anxiety and depression meds are making things worse for her, not better. I don't know if she's actually taking them properly or not. And then her jealousy on social media, because Owens wants to be blasted all over social media. Like, look at my beautiful girlfriend. I'm so proud of her. Like, I love her. Da 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 da. And she has tried to construe this as he doesn't want me on there because he wants to seem single, and it's easier to become insta famous without a girlfriend on there. And maybe that's why he doesn't do it with anybody. But it could be exactly what you said his sister said. That he just doesn't put his personal relationships on social media, because some people like to keep that stuff private. Because it's nobody else's business. It's personal. It's between you and him. Then Owens continues to say, my family had a long call with me because I asked their honest opinion about what I should do. I feel like things are really up in the air with us, and that we need to smooth a couple of things over. We have talked about feelings, and what comes up over and over is how I love him and he doesn't have those feelings for me. I have been praying to get the answers I need. Do I stay with someone that I love with all of my heart, even though there is a good chance he will never love me? I wanted to tell him how much he meant to me, He was just not nice on the phone. I've done a lot to be there for Mike and support him, and I wouldn't dream of ignoring him or not taking his calls. My heart is telling me that I shouldn't be with someone who treats me like this and ignores me when I'm upset. I don't think he cares if I stay or I go, so I guess I have my answer, which is just hard. So this could be during the time she was threatening to unalive herself. But it's also her saying she's needy, because when she's upset, he ignores her. Maybe he just needs space because she's upset and she's done things that upsets him, and he has to step away and take a few minutes, and then he can come back and deal with it. I'm sure he does not want you to go as in off this earth. So that's just her wanting somebody to feel sorry for her again. Then it says Owens versus Marraccini, State of California, County of San Francisco. I, Randy Pollock, am employed by a aforesaid county, State of California. I am over the age of 18 and not a party to the within action. My business on I caused to be served on the interested party in this action by serving a true copy thereof via messenger to Owens. I declare under penalty of perjury that the above is true and correct. Executed on January 22nd, 2018, and it is signed by Marraccini's attorney. So that is the case of Owens V Marraccini that we know so far that's public. And so what do you think? Do you believe parts are true? Do you think all of it's BS? Because we know kind of how she is. Let me know in the comments down below. And we are going to end for our quote of the day. The surest way to lose your self-worth is by trying to find it through the eyes of others. Your self-worth is inside of you. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. Other people can think you're ugly. Other people can think you're stupid. It doesn't mean you actually are. And if you know who you are on the inside, if you know that you're kind and you're beautiful and that you are smart and dependable and reliable and loving, then those people can't tear you down. I know that I am a good mom. And if somebody tries to tell me that, like sometimes maybe baby daddy tries to tell me that, when he's mad because it's like a hit below the belt, I will go off on him, because the one thing you're not going to tell me is that I'm a bad mother, because I know that's not true. And that you can stick your head where the sun doesn't shine for all I care. And I'm not going to discuss things with you further and allow you to disrespect me that way, because I know my self-worth, at least in that department anyways. So just remember, you are worthy. And I will see you in the next video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe for more videos coming. With Owens, we have another person to dive into, and discussions about her new lawyer currently on this case. So, hope you have a good evening. Bye.